10 armed men managed to paralyze a major metropolis for 60 hours using nothing more than light infantry weapons and a mobile strike plan. This is the operational paradox of the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. The assault was preceded by 16 major intelligence alerts between 2006 and 2008. These reports specifically identified maritime infiltration routes and named high-profile landmarks as likely targets. This diagram outlines the hierarchy of Indian intelligence reporting at the time, flowing from federal agencies down to the State Director General of Police. The structural breakdown centered on the desk officer system. Instead of reaching top-tier leadership, threat alerts pooled at these lower middle tiers. The system acted as a bureaucratic dead end, where information was collected but never translated into actionable preparedness. Even the existing warnings contained critical gaps. While matrices explicitly named the Taj and Oberoi hotels, secondary targets like Nariman House and Kama Hospital were completely absent from every prior threat report. Without a unified intelligence fusion center to synthesize these fragments, local law enforcement remained blind. The administration was structurally incapable of mounting a proactive defense when the real assault began. This map shows the initial footprint of the assault. Beginning at 21:20 on November 26th, the gunmen executed simultaneous kinetic strikes across 5 primary locations in South Mumbai. At the Chhatrapati Shivaji terminus, 2 attackers equipped with assault rifles and grenades severely outgunned the local police units on site, resulting in 58 immediate civilian fatalities. The lack of a cohesive operational picture proved lethal for the first responders. Moving toward the chaos without a clear map of the threat, the anti-terrorism squad chief and 2 senior officers were ambushed and killed outside Kama Hospital. Local police did secure one critical tactical success at Chowpatty Beach. They captured Ajmal Kasab alive, which provided the forensic intelligence necessary to verify the attacker's origins and training. Behind the lines, the centralized command structure collapsed. The Mumbai Police Control Room was overwhelmed by more than 1,300 calls, while widespread radio frequency interference jammed the wireless network. This communications failure forced first responders to rely on unsecure personal cell phones to coordinate their movements, effectively shattering unified command and control. Without an incident commander to orchestrate a localized containment strategy, the initial active shooter events hardened into entrenched multi-day sieges. To neutralize the barricaded gunmen, federal authorities mobilized the National Security Guard, specifically the 51 and 52 Special Action Groups based in New Delhi. This map illustrates the logistical friction of the response. The 1,163-kilometer flight path from New Delhi resulted in a critical 6-hour delay, with the NSG forces landing at 0300 on November 27. During this deployment gap, the only specialized element holding the line was a small 8-man unit of local Navy Marcos Commandos, who extracted hundreds of guests from the Taj Palace. When the NSG assumed control at 0920, the transition was hampered by the earlier command breakdowns. Critical operational intelligence, including master keys and architectural floor plans, was poorly integrated into the federal assault plan. The 195-man NSG task force was forced to divide its combat power, launching assault groups against the Taj Palace, the Oberoi Trident, and Nariman House simultaneously. The combination of delayed force projection and a fractured command transition surrendered the tactical tempo to the terrorists, allowing them to fortify their positions before the first federal breach. Joint NSG and Army forces systematically cleared the Oberoi Trident Hotel using targeted explosive breaches, successfully ending that specific siege on November 28th. This image illustrates the structural scale of the Taj Palace. The building's thick granite walls rendered standard heavy breaching explosives practically useless against barricaded positions. This structural hardening forced the NSG to abandon rapid assaults in favor of a methodical and highly dangerous room-by-room close-quarters battle. Commandos required 4 to 5 minutes to clear each of the hotel's hundreds of locked rooms. This methodical pace dragged the Taj operation out to nearly 40 hours. The complexity was compounded by live media broadcasts, which inadvertently acted as open-source intelligence for terrorist handlers in Karachi who were monitoring the siege. In high-density civilian infrastructure, standard dynamic entry tactics often fail, forcing elite units into slow, high-attrition clearance operations. Nariman House was a standalone, 6-story structure situated within a dense urban corridor. Inside, the gunmen had barricaded the upper floors and the primary stairwell, in helicopter directly over the target. 22 commandos executed a high-risk fast rope insertion directly onto the rooftop, a maneuver necessitated by the fortified ground floor entrances. To protect the assault team during the insertion, snipers positioned in adjacent buildings provided suppressing cover fire against the gunmen's known positions. Once inside, assault teams used precise IED charges to breach the fortified fourth-floor rooms, triggering extreme close-range gun battles. The raid was declared complete at 18:25. The NSG successfully neutralized the attackers, but all 6 hostages were found dead, having been killed prior to the breach. Vertical hostage rescues in complex urban terrain demand extraordinary synchronization and carry the absolute highest operational risks in counterterrorism. Operation Black Tornado officially concluded at 05:30 on November 29th, ending the 60-hour siege. The primary tactical lesson was clear. In a modern, multi-node terror attack, waiting hours for a centralized federal force is a fatal vulnerability. This led to a doctrinal shift requiring the creation of specialized city-based quick response teams, equipped and trained for immediate heavy weapons action. New operational mandates also targeted the pre-attack intelligence gaps, requiring state agencies to catalog architectural floor plans for all critical civilian infrastructure. The first line of defense in urban combat must be heavily militarized, highly trained local police elements deployed instantly, rather than elite commandos stationed hundreds of kilometers away. To dismantle the logistical bottlenecks experienced during 2611, the government established 4 regional NSG hubs, radiating outward to cover the entire subcontinent. This decentralization permanently eliminates the 1,163-kilometer deployment delay, ensuring rapid federal force projection to any major city. The intelligence architecture was completely redesigned. The fragmented desk officer system was dismantled, and the National Investigation Agency was established to mandate interagency data fusion. State governments were required to appoint dedicated nodal intelligence officers, whose sole function is to synthesize fragmented alerts into actionable directives. The ultimate legacy of 2611 is the realization that tactical bravery is insufficient without a unified, fused command structure capable of turning raw intelligence into rapid kinetic action.